Plants vs. Brainrots is slowly declining in players and has been slowly dying in the recent 2 weeks of the game. With this, players are now suddenly worried that it could soon be the end for Plants vs. Brainrots in the next weeks. In this video, I will talk about what could have ignited its downfall, and what could possibly happen to this game and maybe even Roblox. But before that, if you were to like this video and subscribe to this channel, that would be greatly appreciated. It only takes a couple seconds of time, so please just head on down over there and subscribe. To fully understand what made the game have over 700,000 players every single day down to less than 400,000, we must first understand the key gameplay of the game. Now, I have discussed inside the past that Plants vs. Brainrots is just a regular game that copied off from Plants vs. Zombies, a game that was very popular for us teenagers or young kids. The only difference, however, is the Brainrots that you could collect and kill inside the game. With these Brainrots, you can earn cash that you could use to buy more plants, and if you are lucky enough, secret plants, which are the best in the game. I myself have been playing the game for a very long time in my spare time, and was able to trade for massive secrets. However, this is what makes the game fun for some people, aside from Brainrots being the main focus to pull in kids towards the game. Since it copied off Plants vs. Zombies, some of us feel nostalgia within the game. Now that you've been given an understanding on why Plants vs. Brainrots is one of the most popular games inside the world, as recently they did reach another whopping 6 million players during the update, one would question, how is the game dying, and how did it even happen? Well, it all dates back to one of my previous videos in this channel called Roblox Brainrots Are Getting Sued. Inside that video, I talked about how Brainrots were getting removed inside the game, as we have seen this inside the past. That now, people who quote-unquote own these Brainrots are starting to sue multiple Roblox games with Brainrots in them in exchange for a percentage of their profit. As for the specifics of how they could do this, I genuinely don't know how this was even legal, but judging from the experiences Plants vs. Brainrots and Steal a Brainrot have experienced, it seems that they couldn't do anything about them. At the time of posting that video, Plants vs. Brainrots still had over 600 to 800,000 players every single day. They would even sit comfortably at the top 3 most popular games on the platform. They were also favored for being the successor of Grow a Garden, since during the time it was when Grow a Garden was considered to have its downfall. Jandel, the lead developer of the game, was also the main reason for it being considered to be the successor of Grow a Garden. As if you don't know, Hez, also the main developer for Grow a Garden. With such high hopes that the entire Roblox community had for Plants vs. Brainrots to become the next hit game that would surpass Steal a Brainrot and Grow a Garden, both games held the world records for being the most popular game in the world. It also stemmed from the fact that Plants vs. Brainrots was able to reach an all-time high of 8 million players in their first 3 updates of the game, which is crazy for any Roblox game to say the least. As a hater or lover of the Roblox Brainrot genre, everyone pretty much expected the game to skyrocket in popularity, like it should have with the reputation of Jandel, the downfall of Grow a Garden, and the new players it brought in at the time. However, suddenly it all dissipated in the past few days, and it seems like the game has gone farther from that reality. Players have been noticing that Plants vs. Brainrots has significantly decreased in players that kicked it out of the top 3 most popular games in the platform. It went from Plants vs. Brainrots being there to only have 99 Nights in the Forest, Fish It, and Steal a Brainrot, with the occasional changes due to different time zones. However, the core of the most popular games on the platform would always consist of these 3 games. So, of course, with me seeing this change inside the Roblox platform, I decided to go and check out the statistics of Plants vs. Brainrots to know what could have possibly happened. Lo and behold, when you put the statistics in a daily time span, we can see that the game and its statistics has a downward trend from its peak at 1.2 million players playing at all times to only 300,000 players, which is roughly around 4x less than before. This 3-week gap marks the inevitable death of the game as it keeps going down. It's not only the statistics for the daily player counts as newer visits or newer players decrease as well. Look at this bar graph inside their Rollermon's page. You see how ever since its peak at 150 million visits, it has been going down in a linear trend, making it rather obvious that they are losing newer players or players that would come back to their game. It seems like the game is getting boring, prompting them to subsequently drop the game entirely. Unlike its main Brainrot genre counterpart inside Roblox called Steal a Brainrot, that game has had a steady 3-month period without gaining or losing players in terms of their player visits. So right now, they are steadily staying at roughly around 800,000 to 1.2 million players every single day. Not only that, their other 4 statistics as well are going down, and they are much rather drastic. Their like percent are going down, alongside their likes and favorites. For Plants vs Brainrots, it seems like they can't compete whatsoever anymore, despite them being labeled as Grow a Garden successor after their launch. The interest towards Plants vs Brainrots isn't getting any hype anymore, which leads me to my next point, which would be their admin abuse that many players supposedly loved. You see, in Plants vs Brainrots, and like any top Roblox game that's built like a simulator, the game has this admin abuse that gives out very rare Brainrots and plants for players to get. What made admin abuses so great is because it builds hype for the brand new update. However, there are many issues to this that the developers were unable to foresee. You see, with admin abuses being inside the game, usually people would expect it to be like a massive event, like what Steal a Brainrot holds every single week. In Steal a Brainrot admin abuses, the game gives so much secrets with mutations, allowing you to literally become a noob to a pro almost immediately. Steal a Brainrot also listen heavily towards their community, so usually their events would be centered around them. However, for Plants vs Brainrots, when I searched the keyword admin abuse inside the suggestions tab in their Discord, all I saw were a bunch of comments saying that they need better admin abuse and that the hype for the game isn't even worth it, as pretty much what they give away in the admin abuse is something that many players already have. This also isn't the main issue about the game, as most of their players who play the game are from the Philippines or generally in Asia. However, some admin abuse times are pretty terrible, often during their school times. This makes kids who play this game completely dejected on even playing the game as compared to Grow a Garden with a reasonable time slot. Plants vs Brainrots has bad timing. Sure, there are 3 admin abuses, but this makes it so that the rewards are spread out throughout those 3 events. With so much issues coming towards their game, such as getting hit with possible Brainrot lawsuits, lower player counts, and poor community management, it could be the main reason for this game's death. Although, with them still reaching around 5.7 million players in their recent update, not all hope is dead. If they could possibly just make one game-breaking update and fix every issue in their game, then it could just be the main reason people come back towards the game. With how the game has been going down, it's pretty similar to how Grow a Garden lead to its own downfall. In some cases, the game has been reaching the same numbers that Grow a Garden has, making it even far worse for the community and future updates that they could possibly have. Closer, they get to the 400 player mark, the 300,000 player mark, and even lower, this game would eventually dissipate. In the case of Roblox and these types of games that reached high records, a 100,000 player CCU would be the equivalent of their own death. It's quite sad to see that games such as Plants vs Brainrots were unable to reach the records that it was supposed to have. Unless, of course, you think that it's a blessing in disguise, as there are some people who wish Brainrot games were to disappear. With games such as Fish, it being able to topple their concurrent player numbers every single day. Aside from the admin abuse days, of course, people speculate that if they can't do anything in the succeeding weeks, then this was their final straw. Games such as Fish, it just keep rising, and not only that, their community keeps growing because of its own supportive fanbase. However, Fish, it does have something very suspicious going on inside their game, one of which makes it so that their game doesn't have any real players, and has an underground scheme that they are hiding from everyone. To know more about that, click this video on your screen right now, and until the next upload guys, goodbye.